I have a game haul to show off.
Oh, okay, good. So that gets us to the next segment.
Yeah.
The next segment in the show is called TWIGs. TWIG. Everything's an acronym here. What's up with that?
I don't
The
know.
TWIG. This Week in Gaming. And in This Week in Gaming, we will go through and we will give you games we played, games we purchased, anything to do with like the board gaming hobby. Including, even we'll talk even about like gaming content, like board game videos that we watched, anything board game related. That's what we call our This Week in Gaming. Wayne, you want to lead us off and go through all of your last week in gaming?
Yeah, gaming. Yeah, let's see. Anyway, so I got my not weekly, but my latest Stonemaier Games
almost weekly. It seems like
game haul. Yeah, so I got the Rolling Realms pack for Tokaido.
Nice.
So, there you go. Yep. And then I got the nice Tokaido coins.
I can hear
nice.
The
metal
jingle,
coins.
jingle.
Yeah, nice. You get 50 metal coins. They're pretty nice. I like that. And then I ordered the actual. So I own Tokaido already and all the expansions, so I didn't want to rebuy it again. But they have he sold just the starter, the solo pack. So in the new Stonemaier game, because he always wants an Otoma, they created an Otoma for for Tokaido, which is good. It's got rules and a player aid, which is pretty cool. Linen finish, and then he's got the solo kind of Otoma cards. And what was cool is on top of throwing in just the solo play cards, he gave all new cards for the panoramas, and they're the nicer, newer kind of artwork for the panoramas of focus. There we go.
Totally different style.
Yeah, kind of totally different style. So it was cool, and it was really, I don't know, it was a couple bucks, like $6-7 for the Otoma with this, and then the coins were, again, it was like, maybe $15 for the solo cards, the Otoma cards, and then the other thing. As part of that, I bought a set of coins for Carlos because he wanted a set of coins, and
Nice.
a Rolling Realms pack as well for one of the other Beansanddice crew members. The thing that was interesting is Carlos doesn't own Tokaido. So he bought the coins, and then he bought the actual Tokaido itself. And so I got Carlos's copy here. I'm showing off his copy of Stonemaier's Tokaido. But what it's amazing, what I was like, oh man, I almost want to buy this. The box size is drastically different. So here's my copy of Tokaido.
Wow. Yeah, I can see the difference
you can
already.
see the difference in the thickness.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a good ½ inch thinner.
Yeah,
and it's shorter and less wide by about 8. So it's probably about ½ inch across
all the way around.
So you can kind of see there's
that's interesting
kind of difference. So the Stonemaier
but I
box,
thought it got more components in the Stonemaier box.
Yeah, but the insert in the Funforge one is massive, and it's like a ton of wasted space because like in that box I have the actual entire expansion box for both the expansions under the insert, and it just sits there. So so yeah, I'm not going to open Carlos's copy because
you can
do that.
Yeah, you are.
No, that's all good. I don't want to do that. But I was really impressed with how thin this is. I'm like, ooh, I could save a ½ inch of space on my shelves.
Put another game in there.
If I did that across like 3 or 4 games, I could get like another game.
I could hear my calyx inhaling, holding its breath.
Tighten the belt. Yep.
But I just thought that was interesting. Is there's a considerable and part of it is I think the base price of the Stonemaier version was, what was it, like $30 retail, $20, 25 or something or less if you were a champion like I am. So. But that's how he made it so cheap. Is it's clearly the box size is smaller, thinner, and I love the back. Really nice. Just the Stonemaier treatment of the box. It just looks cooler. The artwork is definitely. Let me see if I can get it out there. You can kind of see the artwork of the Stonemaier one.
I like it
versus the original Tokaido.
Oh, it really focused on the word Tokaido as the main part of the box. Now the artwork is much more prominent.
Yeah.
More white space on the old one. Yeah. So I'm not a huge fan of the game, but I like the art, the changes they've made, the art and all that looks better.
Yeah.
So
so this isn't the kind of this to me and Carlos, you'll probably be like, I like the game, but there's not a huge amount of decision space. But it is
what you do. Yeah.
You kind of do what you do, and but what I like about it is just that, like, it's a relatively fun game.
Yeah.
That you can play like first game of the night or last game of the night, where people are showing up and people are BSing, and like when you go to a game day and you end up spending 45 minutes just catching up,
Yeah.
this is the kind of game you
I
can
like
play
that.
while you're catching up, because
Okay.
it doesn't have a lot of thinking involved.
Right.
In that, like, you don't have to focus so much on every little aspect of the game. We can be BSing and talking while we're just taking our turns and da 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 da. Oh, game's over, great, type thing. That's why I like Tokaido, because it's just a fun journey, and it's kind of like relaxing. It's a Zen
Casual.
type game. Yeah.
Yeah.
First time I ever gave this game a thought. First time was in our friend in the chat, Chris,
Hey,
who just
Chris.
popped in the chat to say hi. So coincidentally, he had brought up Tokaido at one point, I think last year, and that got me interested because the way he described it was as a very chill game.
Yeah.
Very chill game.
So
Very chill.
like it almost the journey. It's about the journey, not the destination. It's all that feel, and then that's what got me looking at it. So I'm glad to see that copies
Yep.
arrived. Thank you, sir.
Yep. And then as far as gaming, I went to the Tampa Gaming Guild, their Sunday gaming. We actually ended up playing Holotype again with
Right.
the dinosaur game, which I enjoyed again. It was a fun game, 4-player game this time, so it was a little bit lower scoring. So I kind of got to see that.
Nice.
And then I don't know how to say it without being. There was a bunch of new players, people that had saw the Tampa Gaming Guild advertise, free gaming on Sundays. So there were a bunch of new gamers that came in. So I played a bunch of sort of lighter games with some folks who were new to gaming, which I enjoyed. One actually that I kind of want to buy. Got to play Sausage Sizzle,
Okay.
which is a Marcus and Inca brand, which I love their
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm.
And it's just a very Carlos. This is a game that you're going to want to buy because it's a tiny box, 8 dice, quick dice chucking game, and it's kind of Yahtzee-ish in that there are 4 dice with pips, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and the sausage. And then there are 4 dice that have 1 pip each for an animal. And you roll all the dice. And every time you roll all the dice, you have to take at least 1. You can take more than 1, but you have to take at least 1. And how you score is the number of dice that you roll that have the same animal on it. So let's go with crocodiles. If you roll the 4 dice with crocodiles and you roll all 4 crocodiles, you can pull those 4 crocodiles out and you have 4. Then you multiply that by the lowest pip die that you had to pull out. So if the lowest pip die you pulled out was 5, it would be 4 times 5, you score 20 points. How the sausage works, and it's very like Australian, the sausage, throw sausage on the Barbie type thing, shrimp on the Barbie, but the sausage anyway. It's if you get all 4 of your dice with the pips on the sausage side pulled out, it's times 7. So it'd be 7 times whatever the animal is. But the interesting thing is the game is 6 rounds, and each time you use an animal, you're done using the animal. You flip over a little, you have a little pog type thing in front of you. You basically flip over.
Pogs, bro.
Pog.
That's a
it's like a little
Talk
pog.
pog.
He
Yeah,
said
a little
pogs.
round.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
Throwback. So if you score koalas this round, you flip over koalas, you can't score them the rest of the game. So as you get down to those last 2 rounds, you only have 1 or 2 animals to go for. So you're really hoping to score the animals you want. The one interesting thing is when you pull out the sausages, they don't count as the lowest pip die. It's the lowest number of pips. So like if you roll a 5, you pull out the 5 and then you roll a couple of the sausages, you can pull that out and lock in a 5 times whatever the amount of animals. So it's kind of very quick, mathy. You have the 8 dice, 4 count towards the multiplier, 4 count towards the animal, and you're just rolling and pulling and rolling and pulling. So it's a very fun light game. It's very, play at a bar. It's only 6 rounds, so it's like 30 minutes, quick game. But there is some thinking as to how you pull the dice out. Like when do you start pulling? Do you go for the 4 sausages, or you pull out the 5 with the 2 sausages there and re-roll that 3, hoping you get a 5 or another sausage? And then how do you score the animals? Because each animal's only on a die once, so you have to try to, roll for multiplier. So it's a kind of variation on Yahtzee, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
All right, so big question.
Mhm.
Are the animals representative of the guest who are enjoying sausages, or are the animals representative of what I'm making the sausage out of?
As Rob said, who cares?
Nailed it.
I have no idea. It's like clearly Australian themed, which is interesting because I think Inga and Marcus Brandt are German, so I don't know where they came up with this little Australian.
Probably a recent
game.
trip to Australia.
Yeah, whatever.
Something.
And apparently a sausage sizzle is a thing in Australia, whatever, so whatever.
I've heard
but
of
it was
it, yeah.
it was a fun dice chucking game that was, again, played with kids, play with adults, play at a bar. It's a pocket game where you can take it on the road with you, so it's a fun little game. So
Cool.
That was Holotype, which I played, and then I can't remember everything else I played. So that's all I want to highlight this week.
You put a list in there in the Discord. I'm sorry I missed that game day. I really wanted
it's all good.
to get out there. But,
it was fun.
I
think that's important to mention. Sometimes when you're I'm an experienced gamer, you just hey, okay, there's a bunch of new people. Fine, I'll play a bunch of I had fun playing. Oh, we played Flip 7.
Yep.
Taught them Flip 7. That was another huge hit. It's always anywhere you go with that game, it's a good one. So.
All right. Let's jump to the chat real quick. Let's see here. Phantom Beamer says, my problem with multiple games and games with long wait times is I have trouble remembering what I was going to do. And I think he's talking about our board game arena games and the counts.
Yeah.
I also struggle with that. Don't forget there is a feature in each game, a little notes. You can actually type notes to yourself in the game. And I do that to remind myself of what I want to do next turn. So if I'm like playing Memoir 44.
You're playing 2 games at a time. Wayne is playing 100 games at a time. Wayne, do you use the little notebook?
Never.
Okay, there you go. All right, anyway. I just need to throw that out there. But go ahead, Carlos.
Or if I'm playing Dinogenics, I'd be like, you're going for the T-Rex. Remember, you're going for the T-Rex.
That's funny.
That's just little notes to remind myself, what was I doing in this one of my 2 games? Hey, bro,
Just had to call that out. Yep.
Andrew F in the chat says, I received my new Kickstarter version of Veiled Fate last weekend. First play was complete. Happy to report that it was completely worth it.
Nice. Very cool.
There you go. Cool.
And then Pablo was asking Andrew, did you get the metal figures? Wondering if they fixed the colors on them to differentiate them better. I see that Andrew did come back and answer. Says, apologies, Pablo. I wasn't looking at the chat. Yes, the minis are fixed. I still kind of struggle with the metal tokens, but Ivy Studios did a great job with it.
Good deal.
Says, I'll probably never find a better quality board game. Just amazing. Good luck. It's worth it.
Nice.
Because Pablo was saying that he hopes Ivy does another deluxe everything print run. Let's see. Chris
we'll go back
is
up,
in the chat.
Yeah. So the answer to that is they have not yet, and they probably will not for a while.
So for the people at home on podcast, the question from Chris was, have they produced a new version of Namiji? I prefer this game over Takedo. I know SMG owns the whole product line now, Stonemaier Games.
Yep. So I think what he addressed that actually on his YouTube show, I think last week or the week before, and he said that they own Namiji, but they're not producing it yet, and probably won't for probably at least a year or so, because there's still so many copies unsold out there. It doesn't make sense for him to invest in a print run yet, because there's enough product out there still to be sold under the old Funforge line. So I guess he'll track in some way like how many were sold and how many are been, whatever, however he's tracking it, when he gets to a point where there's not enough Namiji out there, he'll probably reprint it and do the Stonemaier update to it.
Hey, you got to wait till there's a demand.
A demand. Yeah. So
you don't want a surplus out there of original Namiji.
Yeah, I think it was Namiji, and then I think there's like a Tokaido Duo or another version of Tokaido. And he said both of those will probably be a year or more before they even think about printing a version of it.
Let's see about my TWIG. We'll continue my TWIG. We started a little bit there doing that caller. He called in. One of my hauls was Flip 7, the new box edition, the new small box edition. What we learned during that small unboxing with that caller is that the cards are smaller.
Yeah.
They still seem to be the same quality, Robert. I don't think the quality of the card stock changed, but they are a different size. Yeah. I did confirm while playing around in the rule book. It is the updated rule book, so the rules are updated here. So you get the freshest set of rules. It's the only rules you should ever have. I'm going to say this box feels thicker than like a Uno box, but based on what Wayne, you were saying, one of the friends of the show, Pat, that his box disintegrated.
It definitely started falling apart pretty quickly on him.
Yeah, you said thicker than Uno, but not by much, I don't think. I mean, I think it definitely is slightly, but...
Yeah, it might last a little while, but it's definitely going to be something that I think you just start in a deck box.
I think just opening this top 4 or 5 or 6 times...
We'll start to get it.
Yeah, you may start to
like it won't stay closed. I think the biggest issue is like maybe the box stays together, but that top lid or...
you can already see there's a little separation up there, but yeah.
Flip 7, game we'd recommend. Now we have to decide which one's the better box. $8 though. $8.
That's
$8,
hard to argue with.
I can just buy another box.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
see,
that's something
Throw
for
the
my
cards
home.
away.
Pablo-
Throw the game away. Just
yeah,
keep
Pablo
buying for the
Pablo
box.
42 had found. He said he managed to find the promo version for eBay on cheap. The
What?
box quality is whatever, but I like how pocket it is. Yeah, I think that's what's interesting is that bigger box was fun for game stores, but it definitely too big. This one might be too flimsy, and the double stack of the deck. I hate when like those games are like that where you have to take a deck that's really one deck and split into two to get it back in the box. I'm not a fan, but
I don't
I would.
disagree.
I'm definitely gonna just do a deck box and then do a little like paste of the Flip 7 logo on the front of it.
Let's see. Haul. I'm going to keep my haul going.
going.
This is my
All
This
right.
Week in Gaming, my twig. I have picked up a copy of Sky Team's expansion, Turbulence.
It's good. It's good.
I'll let you know. It's an expansion that comes with 20 scenarios for the wonderful game Sky Team. Sky Team is a 2-player game, co-op only, where you are working together to land a plane.
Silently.
Silently land a plane. This comes in an eco-friendly paper
I can see it's already eco-friendly.
package.
It's already biodegrading.
Well, it's meant to just be folded into the base game, right? The box.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a small package that it comes in, but you're going to get more airports, and then each airport's going to have different scenarios. So in these different scenarios, you're going to have things that change the altitude that you start with. So like some of these, you're already lower than you should be on your approach. So it's almost like a quicker descent. So you got to figure that out. It also adds turbulence, which is the name of the game, right? Turbulence. Turbulence. There's two different ways that you deal with it. One is like eddies. Eddies create an inability to manage your dice, so you're only going to get to roll so many of those dice up front, so you don't get to see. You only have like 2 dice at a time, so you're not seeing all 4 of your dice ahead of time. Okay. And then there's issues with no visibility, where you don't get to see any of your dice ahead of time. You're rolling them one at a time and kind of going from there.
Wow.
So it adds some real difficulties in there. It adds this alert mechanism, Robert, where if you, as you approach the airport, you hit one of these alert markers, these alert icons that are on the airport, these little red alert icons, you'll flip one of these alert buttons. These alert buttons are like an alert triggering, flashing at you on your dashboard, and you must clear out that alert, or it prevents you from placing dice on the depicted section of the player board.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
if I don't clear out this alert, which requires a 2 orange to clear out, I cannot place any dice on the brakes. So until that's done, we can't mess with the brakes. Now you're still allowed to land, even if you have these alerts that haven't been triggered, but you just can't open flaps. You can't drop you can't communicate. You can't get more coffee, right? So you can't remove planes from in front of you. What do you call that? Where you got the
Clearing the runway?
yeah, clearing the runway.
Yeah,
You can't take that action. So it adds that kind of fun. It gives you a couple extra sliders in case you've lost some of the sliders in the game.
Tell me
The
about
cardboard
these
sliders.
freaking penguins. What the hell's up with
There's an
penguins?
Antarctica runway.
Oh,
So there's a runway for
penguins
Antarctica.
on the runway?
And the Antarctica runway, which is supposedly in real life, it is just ice. It is natural ice that you
Sure.
land on. For the fun of it, it says you may replace your airplanes that go on the approach with these penguin icons.
Somebody shooting the penguins off the runway while you're
That's awesome.
landing.
So that's just like them having fun. This is a great, I think it's a great addition.
I really love that, like the idea though that the expansion just comes in an envelope. You open it up, you throw everything in the base box. I think Jamie did that with Tapestry expansion. So I like that idea because it keeps it cheap and inexpensive, and it's just an awesome way to expand the game. Rob and I, we need to get back to doing
Yeah,
this.
we
on
haven't played
BGA.
this in a while. Yeah.
They added, so what they did is they added these 4
Altimeters.
yes,
Altimeters.
boards. There's an A, B, C, and D now. So each of them have different difficulties and different icons on there on how they play. So each airport could tell you, all right, if you're going to try to land in Cape Town, you're going to use the B side of the special altimeters. So so it adds more variability to the game. 20 scenarios, which more variability.
Yeah.
This was a cheap expansion. I think it's totally worth it. It's going right in the box.
Cool.
Yeah. I still need to get Sky Team as a physical copy to play.
Nice.
And with get the metal components too. It's beautiful. All right, this one is a haul and a play. This is Lure. Lure is an all what is that company? All Play.
I'll play.
The company that makes tables.
Mm.
All Play in their All Play size box. So think of
Mountain Goats.
Mountain Goats, the dinosaur one.
The what's
Chomp.
Bacon?
So that kind of a size box. It plays 2 to 5 players. It is a push your luck dice chucker where you're attempting to catch fish. The way it works out is fish will come out on the board, 2 or 3 fish depending on the number of players. Each fish will have a threshold, and if all of your dice add up to beyond that threshold, you can catch that fish. But now you're not spending your dice pips to catch fish, so every fish you have that you can beat the threshold on, you're going to catch. So if there's a 5, a 6, and a 10, and you roll a 12, all 3 of those fish are yours on your turn, right? So we lay out all these fish, then we all roll our dice, and the player, because it's a bidding game, the player who bid the least number of dice will roll first to attempt to catch fish. So you see, I can catch as many fish as I meet the criteria for.
Mm-hmm.
So you want more dice to get more pips added in there. However, the more dice you use, the more last you go in the round. So by the time it comes to your turn, all the fish could be gone.
Yeah.
So you really want to see like how far down can I bid? Then each of the fish also have special criteria, so some additional special rules on how they're caught. So like a bass might require that one of the faces on your dice is a 4. So you got to at least have a 4 and then meet this threshold, right? So it adds some criteria to kind of shake up how you catch them. It's very simple. It's very light, but it's all freshwater fish. So it's stuff that we know about, Robert.
Okay.
If you're ever taking the boys fishing, like these are American freshwater fish. So it's very, reason I got it is we're doing faith fishing and fun with my son at the church. And so we're fishing a lot now.
No Canadian fish in there.
No, not
Okay.
in America.
Yeah,
America.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
You get a little blind board that you put your dice behind, and that way you can put them in your hand. And then at the same time, we all cast, which we show how many dice we're picking, and then we decide turn order from there. Any fish that aren't caught by players in total stay on the board. We just keep adding fish, so the pond gets bigger and bigger as the game goes. Once you've gone through all the decks, the whole deck, all the fish. Once you've caught all the fish in the deck, the game is over. He with the most points wins the game. There are 2 special dice, a D12 and a D20. You may use a special dice on your turn, but that means you can't use it on the next turn. So if you see these fish with a high, like a 16, right? You got this Arctic char, and it's got a 16 plus requirement to catch it. You'd want to use your D20, right, to help you get to that high level of value.
This is trying to make fish food, not friends. It sounds like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Kyle was asking if it's just an expansion for Finspan. You know.
Oh, it could be. Yeah. Use these fish over there. Yeah.
So I think, like Carlos, I thought you were a bird guy. Right? You do 2 games this week with fish in it.
Fish?
Good call. I'm a liar. That's what I am.
He's transitioning
he's not a
to
fish guy until he's a fish guy.
Exactly. Doesn't play
okay,
fish
so,
games.
Wayne, I don't know if you live your life this way like me. I'm around a bunch of other dads and a bunch of other kids, and we're all fishing together, spending time together, doing stuff in the church together. Like having a copy of this in my bag might be my chance to be like, hey, we got nothing to do for the next hour while we wait for something. Y'all want to play some fishing game?
Surprisingly enough, like just anecdotally though, not anecdotally, but tangentially, is why is fishing all of a sudden massively popular amongst like the 8 to 14-year-old crowd? Because like we're for those of us listening new, all 3 of us live in the greater Tampa Bay area of Florida. My son is 11, and every single kid we live in a giant community, like there's 5,000 homes or whatever it is, right? Every kid is fishing now. Like there's all these lakes, and like every kid for Christmas and birthday all got fishing rods. Yep. And like my kid comes home from school when he doesn't go to soccer practice. He's like, I'm like, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm going fishing with my friends. He's got his backpack and like he's got 2 different poles with this fish to catch this one and this fish to catch that. And he's got the fishing knife and they're all like, I'm like,
Probably
It's
mostly
crazy.
a Florida thing. We've got water
Maybe.
everywhere here in Florida.
Yeah, it's true, I
so,
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can just walk, and so when I was a kid, we didn't have a lake or anything within walking or riding distance. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, here you walk out your door, and
There's a pond
lake,
with bass in
there's
it.
a pond
Exactly.
with bass in it. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
catching bass and throwing them back. I mean, he's caught a ton of bass, catfish, a couple other things. Like it's crazy.
See, but
were
once they
out
get a
every day.
car, then that's over. It's like
Yeah.
that cycles with my
maybe.
kids. All my
Yeah.
kids were through that cycle, right? They're like middle school to high school, middle schoolish. Like, oh, the fishing's cool. High school comes around, then there's girls, and there's cars, then there's other stuff to do, and like fishing takes a backseat.
Yeah, I
But then
guess.
what's cool is you watch them as they get older, then they go back to it, right? Because it's kind of coming back to. I'm happy. I'm
Yeah, it's
happy to be a
cool. I
part of
love
that
it.
with my kids.
Fishing
I-
for
I-
More has a couple comments in the
Fishing
chat
for
there.
More?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
let's-
this. Fishing for More says YouTube is why fishing
Fishing.
is so
It's true.
hot.
There's a lot of fishing stuff on YouTube. The algorithm,
Especially with the cameras now that they wear on their chest. I like watching people fish on YouTube.
fishing. Oh, in Brooklyn, right? Interesting. Prospect Park. I grew up in Long Island. My family's originally from Brooklyn, so I grew up fishing. Like we'd go out on the boat in the Long Island Sound and fish in the Sound and stuff like that, and go out, out to the ocean fishing. But we didn't have a lot of lakes on the
Fishing in
island. That's why.
Crooklyn. I assume that was not a typo. That was
No.
Okay.
No, it's probably
Crooklyn?
on purpose.
Okay.
Crooklyn,
I like that.
Crooklyn instead of Brooklyn. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
All right, well, I've only played it 2-player right now with my son. I will tell you, not really enjoyable at 2. The bidding aspect, I want to see because we weren't really fighting.
What does it play up to?
Plays up to 5.
5.
So I want to try it at a bigger player count.
Stonemeyer
I'll
game?
report back. It is not a
Oh,
Stonemeyer
solid
game.
play, sorry.
It doesn't play solo.
Oh,
Can't
not
be a
1 to 5.
Stonemeyer game
It's
if
2
it
to
doesn't
5.
play
Yeah,
solo.
1 to 5.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Yep.
Fishing for More, I'll report back on lure and to let you know how the fishing dads at church think of it. Got a copy of Ito in, as you can see, it's still in shrink.
It's not the cool black one that I got.
It's a smaller white box, but that's okay. But I'm still
Actually, I think the black one is.
It
I
is
think
okay.
the one I got
is
from
okay.
Japan is smaller. The black one's
Wow.
smaller.
I'm looking to play this. God, I'm 12.
It's after dark.
I am 12. I'm looking forward to getting this played, but I need
Yes,
to get
it's
more
fun.
family together. Like
Yeah,
I think this
it plays better in a bigger group. You need like
Yep.
5 or 6 or more.
so this is the first unboxing, as you can see here. I'll allow Rob to continue.
So
opening if he wants to
in
look at it.
Ito, it's similar to the Mind in that you have cards 1 to 100, right? But not everyone is you're not gonna play all 100 cards. So if the 3 of us were playing, we would each get a card. Let's say Carlos gets 10, Rob you get 50, and I get 90. You would then ask a question, and you have to put your card face down in front, and you have to try to get them in order. So it's like, what's your favorite fish, right? And we would say, well, I love the clownfish, my favorite fish. I really think the clownfish is the best fish ever. So it's going to be 90 in the 90. So I put my 90 down, and then the hope is we can discuss and kind of figure out in what order we're going to put them. And then once we decide the order, you flip the cards over. And if you got it right, if we went 10, 50, 90, we win the round, and you win twice or 3 times, you win the game type thing. So it's
Kind of
it's
sounds like the Mind.
yeah,
We're
it's
trying
just-
to
it's a
organize
little
them
bit-
in numericals.
yeah, but you get to talk about it a little bit, and you say like, I really think that mine is like the best, type thing. So it's fun, and there's like 100 different questions in there, and you can find more online. And like what's interesting is you have the American version, so I'm sure the questions are more Americanized. I have the Japanese version, so all the clue card with the 100 questions is in pure Japanese kanji writing. So you have to Google translate it, and it doesn't quite translate right.
Are you sharping the Google Translate onto the card, or are we just translating every time?
No, like with Google Translate, you put your phone over a foreign language and it translates it, and like you can see in the picture, it'll translate it. It's pretty
Okay,
cool.
so you don't have to write on the card.
No. You just translate over the cards. So it's kind of cool. Yeah.
All right, famous people you would like to be, real or fictional. So then
Right.
it goes into that. My understanding is that the color coding on these represent different categories. So like more family friendly, meaning
Probably
when what's a great anniversary gift? Like that's not a good question for a young family, like with young
yeah.
kids. Like they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
I don't mean family friendly like after dark family friendly.
No.
Yeah, and really, once you have the cards, it doesn't matter. Like they give you the questions in there, but you could it's any question that you could rank something. Then it's kind of like Family Feud, right?
Yep.
Survey says 100 people.
Cool.
It looks like it
Yeah,
only came with the everyone category, so I'd have to go out and find the other categories.
After Dark.
Yeah.
Checking just to make sure the lid has the Dice Tower Essentials symbol on it there. So it's in the Essentials line for Dice Tower.
Oh wait, no, there's the families. I see it. So this category is more for family.
The other side.
Famous cartoons, useful things in a house, soft things. Okay.
I'll have to next time I come over, next time we hang out, I'll have to bring my copy because my copy is definitely a lot smaller than that as far as like the size of the box.
Okay.
I want to check that out.
See if the card
I want to
changes
play
on
you.
there.
I want to play you. So I'm glad I got scooped up a copy. Looks like a small box thing. It is going on the 2 playlists. Something else I did on This Week in Gaming is I read the rules to Korra, the rule book.
Oh, yeah.
I did get my copy of Korra in. I think I posted it on YouTube. If you want to follow like what I do game-wise, I tend to post on YouTube in the community section. I'll put posts of pictures of games I'm playing, things that I'm doing board game-wise. That's kind of like my place to post pictures out there for everyone. I did post pictures of Korra. Robert, this is a good call.
Yep.
It's a high-quality game that's inside of this box. I read the rule books. Wayne, 15 pages of rules.
Yeah.
Man, they really distilled this thing down. This was one of the easiest rule books I had to read. What was really, really cool, and that's why I'm bringing it up in the TWIG, is at the bottom left of every single page.
Or bottom right of that page, but yep.
Is the iconography legend.
Yeah.
So like most games have that iconography legend somewhere in the rules, and then as you're reading the rules and it uses the icon, you're like, what does that mean again? And you got to go find the legend. No, at the bottom right of every single page.
Oh, the same. Yeah. So
Yep.
it's just repeated over and
But
over.
no,
and over.
the ones that are included in that spread.
Oh, okay.
So
That
whatever's
page,
in that spread,
Gotcha.
it gives you the legend to those icons.
Okay.
So like when I said in Finspan review today that we talked about, the bonefish icon, nowhere in the rules does Jamie Stegmaier give that icon a name.
Yeah. It's a little fish skeleton.
Really bothers me.
Yeah.
But Korra, Rise of an Empire, gives every icon a name, and then it gives you a legend to help read, to make it easier to read.
So you haven't played it yet?
I have not played this yet.
I'm excited to play this with you. I want to see how you like it. But
The rule books read really got me excited to play.
yeah, it's good.
The componentry continued that excitement.
And for the price, the components, and the game play, I think makes it worth it big time.
This might take the place of Hadara. Like I'm just
Ooh.
based off of my rule read. Like this might take the spot of
It
Hadara
could. I'd put 'em
as my
pretty-
Euro
yeah.
Civ game.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be an interesting comparison.
I played Balatro.
Balatro, yeah.
I lost. I felt like it reminded me of Regicide with its difficulty. So I don't know if I'm hooked on it. I only played one night's worth, and I was
Are you
like,
talking
man, that
about
was
it
hard.
on your phone?
On my phone.
I
So
do need
I
to-
want to get it on my tablet.
I'm thinking about purchasing that one and give it a shot. Because
I think I want to get it on the tablet where it's a little bit bigger, easier to read. Like I hate playing things on my phone because my fat sausage fingers will. Like I clicked the wrong card and I'm like, oh, I didn't want to pair that with that. Like that's a bad pairing. And then it kind of spiraled down to a loss. And I'm like, okay, I need to play this on a bigger tablet. So I'll try it again. I was gonna give Mike that report. I'm not crack-headed, addicted to Balatro like he said I would be.
Okay.
oh, there you go.
Good, but not great. Yeah.
No, I just suck at learning games on computers.
that could be a thing.
Okay.
And then finally, in my plays, played some Finspan. We played Fellowship of the Ring trick taking game with Rob, and I played Lure. Those are the main plays that I've had. That's my TWIG, my This Week in Gaming. That's all I got.